Welcome to InJamaica, and if this is your first time here, please subscribe, click the notification bell and stick around to see places in Jamaica. This video is aimed at giving you a general overview, but you can check the video description for added information. Kingston is the capital and largest city of Jamaica. It is located on the southeastern coast of the island, facing the Kingston Harbour, protected by the Palisades, a long sand split which connects the town of Port Royal and the Norman Manley International Airport to the rest of the island. It is the largest, predominantly English-speaking city in the Caribbean. Two districts make up the central area of Kingston: the historic downtown and New Kingston. Both are served by the Norman Manley International Airport and also the smaller and primary domestic Tinsopen Aerodrome. Kingston was founded the 22nd of July 1692, shortly after the earthquake that devastated Port Royal in 1692. The original section of the city, which was situated at the bottom of the Ligani Plains, was laid out to house survivors of the earthquake. The local government bodies of the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew were amalgamated by the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation Act of 1923 to form the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, KSAC. Greater Kingston, or the corporate area, refers to those areas under the KSAC. However, it does not solely refer to Kingston Parish, which only consists of Old Downtown and Port Royal. Currently, we are driving east on Ocean Boulevard by the Kingston waterfront in downtown Kingston, and to the right is the Kingston Harbour. The Kingston Harbour is the 7th largest natural harbour in the world. On the left is Princess Street. On the left is Orange Street. Also on the left here is the Ocean Towers Apartments. To the right is the Victoria Pier, and we are turning left, which is north of Ocean Boulevard onto King Street. On the left is Tax Administration Jamaica Downtown, same as Downtown Tax Office. On the right is Little Port Royal Street. We are at Port Royal Street and King Street intersection. Port Royal Street is a one-way going left, which is west, towards the Kingston Wharves, Portmore and Spanish Town in St. Catherine Parish. We are now at Harbour Street and King Street intersection. Harbour Street is a one-way going right, which is east, towards Raytown, Rockfort, Harbour View, to the Norman Manley International Airport, Port Royal, as well as to St. Thomas Parish. We are at Water Lane intersection. Water Lane is a one-way going left, which is west. At Water Lane, you can find the Water Lane mural, which is an artwork painted on the walls lining the road. We are now at Tower Street intersection, as well as Justice Square, home of the highest court in the land. On the right is the Supreme Court and on the left is the Court of Appeal. We are at Barry Street and King Street intersection. Barry Street is a one-way going left, which is west, towards the Jamaica Railway Corporation, Tivoli Gardens, as well as to the Edward Seaga Mini Stadium, also onto Darling Street and to the Downtown Municipal Bus Park, same as Rural Bus Park or Country Bus Stop. We are entering Parade and to the left is the South Parade bus station. Just ahead is the St. William Grant Park. Turning off King Street onto South Parade. Again, on the left is the South Parade bus station, and the tree to the left is known as the Big Tree, which is a landmark in downtown Kingston. On the left is Orange Street, turning off South Parade onto West Parade. The St. William Grant Park to the right is named in honor of the 1938 Labour leader William Grant, who was an associate of the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante, national hero and former Prime Minister. On the left is West Queen Street, which will take you to the Coronation Market, the largest and most vibrant market in Jamaica. It is where vendors from all over the island come to wholesale and retail all sorts of goods. The road on the right will take you onto North Parade. The upcoming road on the left is Haywood Street. We are now driving on Orange Street. Orange Street begins from Ocean Boulevard, as mentioned at the beginning. However, West Parade falls between, splitting the road into two segments. The St. William Grant Park we passed earlier was previously known as Victoria Park, in honor of Queen Victoria of England. We are now at Beeston Street and Orange Street intersection. We are at Charles Street intersection. William Wellington Wellwood Grant, OD, born 1894 and died 27th of August 1977, was a Jamaican labor activist. He was known as St. William Grant. We are now at North Street and Orange Street intersection. North Street is a one-way going right, which is east, and a few meters to the left, which is west, you can find the Kingston Public Hospital as well as the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. On the left is Drummond Street. ST, which is referred to as Saint in his name, St. William Grant, presumably means sergeant, in reference to his military or UNIA service. On the left is Bury Road and on the right is Boot Avenue. Grant, understanding that as an uneducated black man, he would never win the respect of the colonial government, he entrusted Alexander Bustamante with the responsibility of taking the struggles of the working class to the next level. The upcoming road on the left is Calabar Road, and this road to the right will take you onto King Street as well as towards Kingston High School and the National Heroes Park. On the right is York Park Fire Station. We are now in St. Andrew Parish. On the right is Orange Lane. On the left is Alton Villa Road, and on the right is Rosedale Avenue. On the right is Eve Lane. On the right is Jeffrad Place. On the left is Torrington Street, and on the right is Torrington Avenue. On the right is Adams Lane. The upcoming road is Torrington Road. Going left will take you onto Sly Pen Road and towards Jonestown, while going right will take you to the National Heroes Circle and National Heroes Park. On the right is Price Lane. We are now driving on Slipe Road heading to Crossroads. On the left is Admiral Pen Road, and on the right is Devon Avenue. On the right is Emmanuel Apostolic Church and also Devon Road. On the right is Godpale Avenue, and on the left is Studio One Boulevard, formerly Brentford Road. On the left is Susumba Lane. In 2004, Brentford Road was renamed to Studio One Boulevard in honor of the outstanding recording facility. On the left is Curfew Road. On the left is St. Luke's Anglican Church. On the left is Carib Theatre, same as Carib 5 Cinema. On the left is Dewars Crescent, and we are now at Crossroads. To the immediate left is the Crossroads Clock Tower, as well as Crossroads Bus Station and the Crossroads Police Station. To the right you can find Crossroads Post Office. Crossroads is a primary commercial neighborhood of Kingston. It is centered on the intersection of several roads. The roads are Slipe Road, Caledonia Crescent, Caledonia Avenue, Marasca Road, Halfway Tree Road, and Old Oak Road. We are presently on Slipe Road, Caledonia Crescent and Marasca Road to our right, Halfway Tree Road to our left, which will take you towards Halfway Tree and Constant Spring, Caledonia Avenue to our right, which will take you towards Up Park Camp, home of the Jamaica Defence Force, and Old Oak Road, which we are now driving on, heading towards New Kingston. On the left is Eureka Crescent, and also here to the left is Eureka Road. To the right is Natal Memorial Hospital, and on the left is Paisley Avenue and Melmac Avenue. To the right you can find Alvernia Preparatory School. On the left is Lismore Avenue. On the left is Art Lane. On the left is Archard Road. On the left is Oxford Terrace. Hope Road continues straight ahead towards Barbican and Ligani. To the right is Tamredcombe Road. We have made the left onto Oxford Road and we are heading into the heart of New Kingston. On the right is Oxford Park Avenue. On the right is Belmont Road. On the left is Ripon Road. On the right is Ainin Road and on the left is Norwood Avenue. Oxford Road continues straight onto Halfway Tree Road and we'll be making the right onto Knutsford Boulevard. On the left is Emancipation Park, which is a public park in New Kingston. Emancipation Park was opened on the eve of Emancipation Day, July the 31st in 2002. And is named in commemoration of Emancipation Day. On the right is the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and on the left is Park Boulevard, which will take you to the National Housing Trust and Courtyard by Marriott Hotel. On the right is Courtleash Hotel and on the left is Ligani Club. On the left is Dominica Drive, which will take you onto Chelsea Avenue. We are now at Trinidad Terrace intersection. In 2003, the 11-foot bronze sculpture Redemption Song by Jamaican Laura Facey was unveiled at the main entrance of the park we passed earlier. The sculpture comprises a male and female statue gazing to the skies, symbolic of their triumphant rise from the horrors of slavery. We are now at Barbados Avenue intersection. Emancipation Day. For Jamaicans of African descent, the day is a very important date in their history as people, as it represents the time when their forebears were freed from the shackles of chattel slavery. We are at Grenada Crescent intersection. August the 1st, 1834 marked the date when all children under 6 years of age were deemed to be free, but all other slaves were deemed to be apprentices and forced to work 40 hours per week without pay as compensation to their owners. Full freedom was not given to the slaves until 4 years later, in 1838. Knutsford Boulevard ends and just ahead is Trafalgar Road. Going right will take you towards the British High Commission, same as the British Embassy, onto Lady Musgrave Road, then south back to Crossroads, or north towards Vale Royal, the Prime Minister's residence. We are now driving on Trafalgar Road towards Oak Road and Waterloo Road. Please remember to subscribe to InJamaica. Give us a like and share, and thank you all for watching.